If you're bottle feeding your breastfed baby and you want to make sure that they aren't going to get a bottle preference, then you definitely don't want to miss this video. My name is Katie Clark, and I am a certified lactation educator, a certified breastfeeding specialist, and an IBCLC student. I love sharing information about breastfeeding with moms around the world to make sure that you can make breastfeeding work for you. I work with moms on a regular basis who have babies that have bottle preferences or that refuse to take a bottle. In this video, I'm not going to be talking about bottle refusal, but I will be talking about paste feeding. Paste feeding is a great way to make sure that your baby isn't overfed at the bottle and that they don't develop a bottle preference. I actually believe that this is a great way to feed any baby, but it's great especially for breastfeeding because it mimics how breastfeeding works and allows your baby to understand their hunger cues and know when they're full. I'm going to show you a video of my sister paste feeding her twins because I think that I can show you everything I want with a baby that is fake and show you some different ways to feed a baby that way. But I think that seeing an actual baby being fed a bottle can be really beneficial. But first, I'm going to go through the different steps. First, you want to pick a bottle. This is not actually my favorite bottle for breastfed babies, but it's just what I had right here. But you want to pick a bottle that your baby will take and that they like. And make sure that you are using a slow flow nipple. You don't really need to get a fast flow nipple when they get older. Just go with the slowest flow that your baby will tolerate. And often that is a preemie or a newborn nipple. You want to fill your bottle up with about 1 to 1.25 ounces per hour of milk from the last time that they ate. So if they ate at 3 o'clock and you're feeding them at 6 o'clock, you're going to want about 3 to 3.75 ounces of milk in the bottle. So once your bottle is ready to go for your baby, you want to have your baby sitting in a seated, semi-reclined position. The biggest thing I want to emphasize with that is that you just don't want them to be like laying down like this. You just want them to be sitting up so the bottle doesn't just, go right into them like this. So just have them in a reclined position like this, and you want to hold your bottle horizontally. You don't want to have it like this or like this. Horizontal is definitely ideal. So when you do that, the nipple will fill up about part way. You really don't need to worry about that giving them gas or having extra bubbles or air in the bottle. I don't find that that's generally a problem when you are paste feeding correctly. So once it's like this, you want to tickle your babies the top of their lips. You don't want to force the bottle in. You want them to draw the bottle in just as if they were latching themselves onto the breast. Once they have put the nipple into their mouth and they've latched on and started to drink, you want to hold the bottle still in a horizontal position and allow them to draw the milk in. Holding it in a horizontal position makes it so the milk doesn't just flow into their mouth, which can really lead to overfeeding. You can kind of compare it to when you're super, super hungry and you go and you just eat, and you're like, oh, I'm so hungry. I'm going to eat more because I'm just eating so fast. And then about 15 or 20 minutes later, you're like, oh my gosh, I am so full. As compared to when you eat slower and, you allow your body to get filled up. This is the same with your baby. If you just give them the whole bottle like this and it just flows into their mouth and they eat it super fast, it can make it so they don't recognize those hunger cues and they still think they're super hungry, only to realize, 15 or 20 minutes later that they aren't hungry. So you want to let them just kind of drink the milk. A typical bottle feed in this manner will take about 15 to 20 minutes. You can, twist the bottle out of their mouth and switch sides. This can prevent a side preference and make it so they aren't like, oh, I have to only nurse on that side too. So just switch partway through, give them a burpee, things like that. And then offer the bottle again. When you start to notice that their sucking pattern slows down, you want to twist the bottle out of their mouth. And then after about 10 or 15 seconds, offer it again in the same manner, tickling their lip and let them draw it in. And let them suck for about 15 to 20 seconds. If they start to slow down again, take it out and keep repeating that process until they really don't seem interested. The one thing I will say is don't force your baby to eat a whole bottle. I know it's so frustrating when you have, all this beautiful milk that you're giving them and you are like, oh, I don't want to waste any of it. But don't force them to finish it. If they want to finish it, that's great. If they don't want to finish it, that's also great. So pace feeding is a wonderful way to feed your baby with a bottle. It's a great way to help them listen to their intuitive eating, which I think It's a great way for them to listen to their bodies and to continue being the intuitive eaters that babies naturally are. It's a great way to prevent overfeeding and, most importantly, that bottle preference, because bottle preferences can be really, really frustrating. So now I'm going to show you the video. It may look a little bit different than everything I said, but honestly, that's because it's a real baby. So you're going to see this in action rather than just with this fake baby. I'm going to feed my nephew Jones a bottle. This video is a little bit long, but I didn't want to speed it up too much so you got confused. Take their fingers out of their mouth, and you want to encourage them to draw the nipple into their mouth. Hold the bottle horizontal like this, and generally you'll keep the nipple about half filled. Some people worry that this will give their baby a lot of extra gas or air. However, I don't really find this to be an issue. Typically, I think that guzzling things actually encourages more air and gas than other items. So I'm just going to let him feed for as long as he wants, as long as he's actively sucking. I'm not going to take the bottle out or, try and make him stop eating. As long as he's actively sucking, he's doing it, at a nice paced volume. The milk isn't just flowing into his mouth, which is what you are looking for. He's doing a good job here, so we'll just let him keep eating. He does kind of slump down a little bit at times, which, that's just going to naturally happen. Ideally, you want them in a seated or somewhat reclined, but not super reclined position, whatever's most comfortable for you. But you just don't want them laying flat, or having the bottle streaming right into their mouth or at an angle. His eating pace has slowed down, so I'm going to twist the bottle out of his mouth to see if he's done. Clearly he's not. He wants to eat it, so we're going to offer it again. His little hands are in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and switch him to the other side. This is important to help make sure he doesn't develop a side preference, which is especially helpful if you're switching back and forth between the breast and the bottle, because you don't want him to just eat on one side. So I'm going to offer the bottle to him again. You can see the nipple here a little bit better. It's only filled about halfway up, which is ideal. Since his eating pace has slowed down, every about 15 to 30 seconds, I'll twist the bottle back out of his mouth, see how he reacts. If he wants to eat more, I'm definitely going to give it back to him. But if he starts to act a little bit less interested, at that point, I will probably just offer to him one or two more times to see if he keeps eating, if he, picks up the feeding pace. But if he's just kind of hanging out on the bottle, not really seeming that interested anymore, then I will be done with the feed. The point of pace feeding is to allow the baby to let you know when they're done. I'm not going to tell you to stop if they're still acting hungry, but I'm also not going to tell you to finish the entire bottle just for the sake of finishing the bottle. A typical pace feeding can take anywhere from 15 to 25 or 30 minutes, so it is kind of longer, but it is a great way to make sure that they are eating according to their needs and don't develop a bottle preference. Let me know if you have any questions about this in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and find me on the Breastfeeding Mama, as well as on Instagram and TikTok. If you're new to breastfeeding and you need support, sign up for one of my breastfeeding classes at the link in this description for this video.